Hello, everyone.
My name's Sam Kessler,
And I'm Bo Cobb.
and we are your FBLA and PBL national presidents, and we're coming to you live from Chandler, Arizona for our national president's address to the nation.
So thank you all for joining us today. I will be acting as a moderator, so feel free to send your questions live to @NatPBLPrez on Twitter or comment in the comments below. Unfortunately, PD National President David Jones will be unable to attend us today. However, if you do have any questions about the professional division, reach out to him at pdprez@fbla.org. Also, we're going to just be sharing all of this with your chapter, so it will be recorded. And it'll be located here on our national YouTube page. So let's get the conversation started.
All right, so the first thing that I'd like to bring up is that Bo and I both just had our national officer team training in Reston, Virginia, which is right out of D.C., and that was really exciting for two reasons. Well, for more than two reasons, but for a couple of major reasons. The first reason is because we actually got to meet with our senators. I know I did. I know you did. I met with two of my senators, and I know some of my officer team also did. It was a really great experience for us to it was the first time I had really ever been to Washington, D.C., into Congress. It was an incredible experience, but we also got to educate our legislators on FBLA-PBL, which is incredibly important, and we'll talk about an opportunity that many of you will have to do that a bit later in this webinar, but it was really exciting. And the second thing that we did, which we're going to talk to you about throughout this webinar, is we planned our program of works. All right, Bo.
All right, so, and then just a shout out to our national secretaries, to Kevin and Annika, for their hard work with creating program of work tips and tricks that can be found in upcoming publications as well as in our blogs. So this year, because of popular demand, in PBL we're bringing the chapter challenge to you. So we're starting off with super sweeps, and I've been seeing a lot on social media from you all. So just about super sweeps. It's an actual membership recruitment program that has a lot of different activities that you can take advantage of. So you want to make sure to go to the national website, which is www.fbla-pbl.org, and then have your advisor register you for FBLA Super Sweeps or PBL Super Sweeps.
And on that note, the great thing about Super Sweeps is not only do you get recognition at national conferences like the NFLC and the NLC if you're successful, but the thing about the Super Sweeps is it's not just busy work. Sometimes your teachers give you homework that doesn't really mean much. The great thing about Super Sweeps is it gives back. By doing these programs, especially at this part of the year, doing the activities that Super Sweeps has you on a special checklist if you go online and look at it, it'll actually help you recruit new members, which is just incredible because not only do you get recognition, like recognition, like I said, but you also get to help your club, and it's a fun time.
Yeah. And now, just like another really exciting update that is really the premiere for Phi Beta Lambda, and FBLA is doing it as well, is 7-Up. So what we're challenging is for members to recruit 7 members over last year's membership total, and they'll be receiving recognition at the NFLC as well as at the NLC.
And like Super Sweeps, the great thing about 7-Up is when you recruit those 7 members over your last year's total, of course you're getting the recognition, but you're also helping your chapter. So I think another thing that, Bo, I think you wanted to talk about was the March of Dimes, which is actually, we're on location right now at their Volunteer Leadership Conference. Shout out to them. This has been a great time so far. I've never been to Arizona, and it's just been incredible.
Yeah, no, we're having a great time here in the beautiful state of Arizona. So shout out to Arizona PBL and FBLA. It's a pretty awesome place. So I did want to share this with you. Both FBLA and PBL, we've come up with a nationwide goal on our program of work to raise $500,000 this year as an association. And thanks to the dedicated members such as yourselves, we are very, very confident that we will hit that goal and help every baby have a healthy fighting start.
I'll actually just mention that before this webinar, we just came back from a NICU where we actually got to see the amazing, the incredible work that March of Dimes is doing, and I can't be more proud that that is our national service partner.
No, it's absolutely wonderful to actually see where our fundraising dollars are going.
Right.
So make sure, though, to check out Purple in Action, which is a national packet that's going to give you all more tools for success to raising money for the March of Dimes. And it'll also give you all kinds of tips and tricks about November, which is Prematurity Awareness Month. And then since we are here with March of Dimes, just a few tips that me and Sam came up with today. Make sure to reach out to your local March of Dimes office for different fundraising opportunities and for different events, because I know that there's a lot of signature chef events out there. There's a lot of March for Babies walks. So we really are challenging that. And of course, Team Youth, who is also, we work very closely with. So I think that we're going to go on and start talking about the e-learning center. I'm going to check for questions and let Sam talk about that for a little bit.
Right. So the e-learning center, if you go on our national website, what you can find is something like Bo mentioned called the e-learning center, where you can get some great tips and tricks like the ones that we just talked about, reaching out to your March of Dimes local representatives. But it's also really great because it gives you all the information that you really need in general to have a successful chapter. And the important thing to talk about with the e-learning center is the fact not only that it exists, but that this year both of our teams came up with the initiative of revamping the e-learning center, giving you even more tools and pinpointed tools to be successful as a chapter. And I know I'm going to be using it a lot, and you should be too, because it's really going to be an incredible resource, which it already is.
And then just a shout out to our national staff on their hard work on the new chapter management handbook. It is available online, so make sure that you all are talking to your advisors about this handbook. It's interactive, there's pictures, and there's all kinds of awesome tools that you can use on that. So we don't have any questions yet, but do remember you can tweet them live. So we're going to go on and start talking about another thing that FBLA and PBL have in common, which is the National Fall Leadership Conference. And I know that Sam's really eager to tell you about the DC conference.
So do you want me to start out and talk a little bit about that? So the DC conference, you heard me talk a little bit earlier about how my team got to talk to our legislators. And if you are going to the DC conference, there's 3 conference locations. There's DC, there's Minneapolis, and there's New Orleans. I'll be in DC, you'll be in New Orleans. The great thing about the DC thing is not only that I'll be there and I'll get to experience it with you, but the fact that we're going to get to go on a march on Capitol Hill, which means that you'll have the opportunity to go and reach out to your senators. Now, I know some of you might get a little bit scared. I know I did when I heard I'd be talking to my legislator about what am I supposed to do, how am I supposed to prepare, who am I supposed to email. Don't worry, we're going to be sending you all those tools. We're actually going to be sending you the guide that I used a few months ago with my training, and you will be successful. You're going to get to see your senators, hopefully, and no matter what, it's going to be a phenomenal experience.
Absolutely, and I have to say, meeting with your senators is so important, especially with all the legislation about Perkins funding going on right now. Make sure to let them know why FBLA-PBL is so important to you and what it's done for you.
Right.
And it's really easy, actually. It's surprisingly easy to get a meeting scheduled with a scheduler to talk about the importance of secondary and post-secondary education.
Oh. We actually did just get a live tweet. It's asking, what was your favorite experience from the NFLC?
All right, so my favorite experience, I would have to say, is at NLC, it's a very competitive time.
Right.
Everybody's campaigning for office or working on their competitive event. But what I would have to say is NFLC, it's just that awesome time where you're really just there to do the same thing, which is networking with leaders from across the country. And you get to go to some awesome workshops, and of course in New Orleans, for all that you are going, you get some awesome food.
All right, thank you, Rachel from Rhode Island, for your question. Yes. So moving on,
actually, I'm going to talk a little bit about the New Orleans NFLC that's coming up. So this is very important for all the Phi Beta Lambda members that are tuned in right now. At the NFLC in New Orleans, we're actually launching a brand new concept called the PBL Pathways. That is one of the pinnacle trademarks for the national team this year. So the pathways will be divided. We're actually going to have an entrepreneurship and personal finance track, and then we'll have a leadership track, which will be more of the traditional. We've reached out to all of the business owners, and a lot of major finance companies will be in attendance at this track, teaching our Phi Beta Lambda members what they need to be career ready.
And just moving on, I will mention at all of these NFLCs, the thing that I'm also really excited for, along with that Capitol Hill visit and DC, is the state officer track. So if you are a state officer, we suggest that you go to the NFLC for the reasons that you get to network and that you get to participate in this track. It's going to be run by national officers like ourselves, and you'll learn how to be successful with your chapter, with your state chapter, locally, but really it's going to be specifically for those state officers, teaching you how you can make the best of your FBLA-PBL experience and also better your own states.
And just more to follow up about the state officer track. Since it is run by the national staff and the national officers, we want to hear from you.
Right.
So either email me, Sam, or any of our national officers, and let us know what you want to learn about. And make sure to do it as soon as possible so we can, hit all of your needs at the conference. So yeah, the state officer track, it is coming back by popular demand.
Right.
So this is going to be its second year, and we've got some really awesome concepts involved for you all. Also, at the NFLC in New Orleans, there will be the FBLA middle level track. So for all of the FBLA middle level members that are thinking about going to an NFLC, New Orleans is definitely the place to come.
Right, and we've got a lot of exciting programs in our own programs of work, kind of pointed at the middle level. So if you're a middle level member, you're watching right now, and you want to get involved, there are going to be those opportunities for you, along with the things that we've already had in the past.
And then just overall sponsorship, we are so lucky to have 100% of our competitive events sponsored.
Right.
And so it's really both FBLA and PBL's goals to maintain that 100% sponsorship. So if you are sitting out there watching this live or watching this at a local chapter meeting after it's been recorded, please make sure to reach out to our national treasurers or even ourselves and tell us who you want to sponsor the next competitive event.
It's a really great opportunity not only to get sponsors for your for this organization, but it's a great opportunity to, again, like those legislative visits, to learn about how the real world works. You're actually going to get to talk to real business people, and that's just such an invaluable experience. It can't be overstated.
Well, Sam, I'm going to continue on monitoring for tweets and everything, but why don't you go on and tell them what's been going on the FBLA side?
Right. So on the FBLA side, if you are a state officer, or if you've been keeping up to date with our program of work, you've heard of something called our regional Google Hangouts. Now, what that is it's a program that I'm really, really excited about that's going to give states the opportunity to talk face-to-face with their national FBLA officers. Those regional hangouts, what they'll do is they'll feature one vice president of a specific region moderating the whole conversation, and the presidents or somebody else from each state will be represented at the Google Hangout, and we'll have the opportunity not only to hear from the state chapters, but we'll have the opportunity for the state chapters to hear from other state chapters. Really, it's a great way to use technology to our advantage and to come together as an entire nation, because that's what we are. We're future business leaders of America. We've got the whole world involved. So another thing that I would like to talk about is a program.
Actually, somebody just live tweeted to you, Sam. Her name is Dusty from Arizona. Well, hey, Dusty, it's good to be in Arizona.
I've met Dusty.
So he actually wants to know, how can he get involved on the regional hangout?
That's an awesome question. So that actually gives me a great opportunity to talk about another program that we have. So first off, how can you get involved with these specific regional hangouts? With the regional hangouts, I know Dusty is the state officer. What you're able to do is go on our national Facebook pages, check your email, check the updates from the National Center. What we've done is we've actually given the dates. There's going to be one, of course, for each region. They're all on different days. And what you'll be able to do is you're going to be able to fill out a survey. And once you fill out that survey, we'll know that you'll be in attendance, and you'll be updated from your vice president on exactly when everything's going to happen, what's going to be contained, and it's really going to be a good time. If you have any questions in general, of course, just send us some emails or look on the website, because there's some great resources. But I will mention the other thing I want to talk about. If you're not a state officer, you have the opportunity to, of course, reach out to your national officers through our emails and through the national website to sign up for your own personal Google Hangout. So if you have something that you really, really want to talk about, there's a form online that you can just fill out, and I know a couple people have already done that this year. We'll get back to you, and you'll have the opportunity to voice any of your concerns, any ideas, suggestions, just things you're happy about. Talk to them, talk about them to the national officer of your choosing. You get to decide who you'd like to be there, and we'll do our best to make sure that not only do we have a hangout, but we get to cover everything that you want to talk about.
And then just something just to throw out there for all the PBL members listening, this is also an opportunity available for you. And what Sam just said, for those that are just now tuning in live, is that you have the opportunity to request a hangout just like this with a national officer. So I do challenge all of you out there to utilize your national officer team.
Right.
We can be in the back of the room on a computer ready for question and answer during one of your info sessions. So make sure to definitely utilize that request a national officer.
Right. And now there's a lot covered in our program of work, and I encourage you to go on the national website to check my Facebook page, at my Facebook page and the other Facebook pages of my team, and we have the entire program of work posted, and it's pretty lengthy. We've got a lot planned for this year, a lot of exciting things. And of course, I can't touch on all of them, but the last thing that I'd like to talk about in this address is councils. I'd just like to briefly mention that council applications were due by September 12th, and if you applied for any council, you will be receiving an email by early next week with the decision. Except if you apply for my council for the to be a national president's assistant, you will receive an email, but it will tell you if you're a finalist, because we've gotten so many emails, so many applications for this council, for the president's council, that we've decided that the best course of action would be to actually interview some top contestants. But honestly, everybody who applied had a fantastic application. I'm only finishing looking at them now, and I'm really just happy to be in this organization with so many incredible people.
So Peter from Kansas just asked me a question.
Right.
This is directed about the councils. And remember, for all of you tuning in live, you can tweet at @PBLPrez with your questions. So Peter wants to know, do you have any advice for the interview section of the council application?
For the interview section of the council application, honestly, if you're applying to college right now, you'll hear something about how you want to be yourself. Be yourself. The most important thing is when you're interviewing with us, we want to know if you're going to be the best fit for the council. We want to know if you're willing to put everything you can into being a national president's assistant or national officer's assistant. But also, with being yourself, that doesn't mean you just have to list off your achievement to us when we're asking you the questions. What I'm really interested in is seeing if you're going to be a good fit for the council, if you're going to do the work that's required of you, because it's a lot of work. But don't worry too much about FBLA experience, although that's going to be an incredibly important component. But apply if you're passionate about the organization.
And just something to add there, I actually got my first experience on the national level through a national committee in FBLA.
Right.
So I really do recommend for all of you all that are eager and excited this year to continue on with your passion, even if you aren't selected.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to be like Bo and actually work your way up if you'd like to be a national officer. Or if you don't want to be a national officer, you also get to work alongside us and make some really great decisions, really impactful decisions for the entire organization.
All right, guys, so don't forget that you can actually live tweet to Sam or me your questions. So I'm going to give you all a Phi Beta Lambda update now. So this has been such an exciting year for Phi Beta Lambda with Step Up to the Challenge as our theme. I have to say, my national officer teams have been, we're getting live tweets, so I'm glad that you all are doing those still.
Thank you.
But our national officer team this year with PBL is so focused and so driven. They are replying to COP requests, which are chapter organization packet requests, within 48 hours of when they're actually submitted. So for all of you PBL or FBLA members out there, go to the national website and share that COP request link with a chapter that you think may want to join.
Right.
Another really exciting thing is the email blasts. So for all of you that got the email blast this past week, which was on the 11th, I hope that you enjoyed those, because every other month you will be hearing from your regional vice president with updates. And also, the first one came out already, which was the national blast. So be looking in your email accounts on the 11th of each month if you've subscribed to hear what we have to say on the national level.
And like a lot of things, it's a really great opportunity to hear about what we're doing on the national level. We always hear about how people want to hear more about what's going on behind the scenes. We want to be as transparent as possible, and this is the way that you can see exactly what's going on and how you can get involved personally. We want everybody as involved as they want to be.
So, and also when it comes down to the email blasts, make sure to please contact your regional vice president with your state update. That way all the states in your region can see the awesome stuff that you guys are up to.
Right.
So definitely make sure to contact them. So the connection circuit is going to be very exciting. I discussed this back in Nashville, which would be the job fair. We're currently scouting for applicants for the connection circuit for the NLC in Chicago. So if you have any companies that you would like to see, please email me at pblprez@fbla.org.
And can I just mention something? Something we want everybody to be aware of with these sponsorships is not only do they help sponsor us with the events, get you those cash rewards that you get if you're really successful, but the other great thing about sponsorships like Men's Warehouse is that we also get some incredible discounts. You can go on our website. There's a link to the benefits that you get as a member of FBLA, and you can start checking the TBL for some coupons. It's a really incredible resource that not a lot of people are taking advantage of up to this point.
Well, and just something to add to that, for all of you that don't know the jargon yet that might have just been starting, the TBL stands for the Tomorrow's Business Leader, which is a printed high school publication that goes out to dues paid members.
Yep.
So make sure you don't miss out on your winter edition of the TBL by paying your dues by October 20th.
And ask your local advisor.
And also the PBL Leader will be coming out shortly with all of those codes as well, and that is an online available to our dues paid members. So don't forget about October 20th. So, all right, now I have to brag about my team a little bit. So the call to order is a parliamentary procedure action packet that the PBL national parliamentarian Jenna Watuchetsky from Nebraska and Peter Choi from Ohio have been working on to give you all tools for bylaws and how to win your competitions. Currently, the call to order is actually being reviewed, so it should be out as soon as possible once it goes through and we have it all finalized.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is that every 2 weeks, the PBL National Officer Team meets at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I really do urge you to reach out to one of the national officers if you have something that you want us to discuss. We definitely want to hear from you and to make sure that our meetings are serving you.
All right.
And then, of course, just get out there and go recruit Phi Beta Lambda. I definitely am excited. It's looking like it's going to be a great year this year. So just remember, word of mouth is the best way to run a campaign.
Yep, and I'll mention Phi Beta Lambda, you're not the only ones who are going to be doing a great job recruiting at the beginning of the year. FBLA, we're a huge organization, and we always have room for more people, and that's the great part about having our local chapters. You, local chapter officers, are the most important part of our organization because that's where we get our members. And you've done a great job thus far, and it looks, the numbers so far are showing that it's, for both of us, going to be a really incredible year.
Absolutely. And then just a small note, though, about our PD officers. They actually just finished training, and they are excited for another amazing professional division year. So for all the FBLA members out there, as well as all the Phi Beta Lambda, make sure that you're reaching out to your local business people and even your teachers to join the FBLA-PBL professional division.
Great.
So we're going to wait for a few more questions, and we're going to talk about our social media for a few moments. So I guess I'll get started.
You can start with that.
For all of you that didn't know, we actually have individual Facebook pages for all 18 of our officers. So this is a great way to stay connected on everybody's journey. Most of you actually got the link to this webinar through a National Officers page, so that's pretty awesome. But make sure to like my page, which is National PBL President.
And it's FBLA National President. I'm just reading, we've gotten another tweet from Dusty, and he's asking if we can be accepted to multiple councils if we apply to multiple. The answer to that is if you apply to multiple councils, we'll all be reviewing your applications, but you will only be accepted if you are accepted to one council. And that's just, that's not a negative thing, that's just a great thing because you'll be able to put all of your resources, all of your energy into one thing. We put it that way on purpose, and that's the way it is, and it's pretty good.
Good question, Dusty.
Yeah, thank you for both of your questions.
All right, so Alyssa.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, this is a question for me. What have you found are the best ways to recruit new members in a local chapter? We want to hear your tips. Awesome.
All right, so you want to go first?
I'll start off first. There's an awesome webinar, actually, probably on that side of the screen, that actually is the Welcome Back webinar that has a ton of tips for you. But I would have to say the best way is word of mouth. Talk to your members. Talk to people that are not your members about what you get to do, about the awesome leadership opportunities, scholarship opportunities, travel opportunities, and of course, if your budget allows it, food.
Right.
Food. And what would you say, Sam?
So I get this question a lot, and what I always say is make sure that you are reaching out to your underclassmen. A lot of times, underclassmen don't really know what to expect, what clubs to look for when they join high school, and when they get into high school. I'm sure into college it's the same deal. But especially in FBLA, look at those freshmen and sophomores. Recruit them because not only will you be able to get more people who aren't as involved, who want to be a part of something like FBLA, but the great part about getting involved early, as I'm sure many people watching can attest, is that if you get involved with any organization earlier, not only is the recruitment great, but the retention is great. You'll become more involved with the organization with time. I've been involved since my freshman year. A lot of people involved since middle level they're the ones oftentimes who work their way to the upper ranks of the organization and who give back a lot, and everybody does, but recruiting those underclassmen is a great way to do so. But a great way to do that, I always like to mention, is we do freshman picnic at my school. That's something I'd recommend to everybody. So I'm not just going to say recruit underclassmen. That's how you do it. Have something like a freshman picnic where you invite all the freshmen in your school to come to the courtyard. We actually give them pizza, like we talked about earlier, food. It's a great way. We actually, my school is not huge. We've got around 1,100 people in my school. But we were able to get, I think, 100 or more. I think it might be more than 100 recruits last year just from this one hour-long picnic.
And then just a note out there, because we are at the March of Dimes Volunteer Youth Leaders, or at the Volunteer Conference, if we do not have enough time to get to your question, I promise you we will get back to you. We'll tweet back. But we actually have a ton of questions, Sam.
Awesome.
So, all right. So Riley Haran, real quick, touching back on the Hangout, how many will there be a year? So this is actually a quarterly address to the nation.
Right.
If you go to www.fbla-pbl.org and you scroll down on the page right next to the news feed, you'll see something that says the FBLA-PBL calendar.
And also, in case, I'm not sure if you were talking about this Hangout or the regional Hangouts that we talked about earlier, those regional Hangouts are also going to be quarterly. They're every other month starting in September, so they're this month. I don't want to say all of the dates and times because I don't want to mess them up for you. But if you go onto my Facebook page or the Facebook pages of your national officers, you'll be able to see exactly when those are, and if you're a state president or if you're going to be representing your state president, how you can sign up. And they're going to be happening every other month, like I said, September, November, January, and March.
Okay. Give me just 1 second because I'm going to organize a few more of these questions.
Awesome.
So, Sam, why don't you tell us what your favorite thing so far about being the national president is?
Favorite thing so far about being a national president? There's a lot of things. It's been great so far. It's been a lot of work, but I would say that my favorite thing so far would be working with such a great group of people. I mean, I know you can talk about that too. It's been...
My team is awesome.
Yeah, when you have an election like this and everything's neck and neck, you really do end up working with some amazing people, and you get the opportunity to, of course, working with so many great people and all the hard work that they all put in, we're going to get a lot out of it. And that's why I'm most excited about my program of work. Not only am I excited about the programs, but I know that with my team, and I'm sure with the PBL team, we're going to be able to get stuff done, and of course, with your help, we're going to be able to do that too.
Hey, Sam, can you help me out here on moderating questions? Can you actually check the national Twitter feed as well while I continue to go through my Twitter feed? Remember, please tweet, though, to @NatPBLPrez. That way I can make sure that I'm following you. But here we go. 1 second.
Thank you so much for all the questions.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, guys. So, can you go more in depth about what will occur during the state officer track at NFLC? And this is Nicholas Lazar. I can handle this question, Sam.
Go for it.
So kind of like what we said earlier, at the state officer track, it's what you want to know. So if you reach out to us, I know that we're going to cover fundraising. We have an awesome person that'll be speaking to you about how to public speak, how to do your, how to hold your presence as a state officer. There'll be all kinds of sponsorship things. I mean, of course, we're going to go over some awesome recruitment. My goal and my vision for the state officer track this year is to actually make it very hands-on. I want to teach you all about the tools that are already right in front of you.
Yeah, and I'll also mention, all of us who've been hooked by FBLA, we know that the conferences are so great because you get to meet so many people. And networking is great. Networking is, of course, a buzzword, but it really does hold true that you meet some incredible people who you'll also not only get to befriend, but you'll get to work with, I'm sure.
And there's all kinds of awesome stuff going on at the state officer track. I mean, I got to host it last year in Salt Lake City with just a great national officer team, and it really seemed like the networking was limitless. But we're going to go on and move through these a little bit faster. So, okay, I don't know how to pronounce the name, so I'm just going to say I'm a middle-level FBLA student, and I want to try out for middle-level state office. Any tips?
So,
awesome.
You are in middle level, so you can talk about this more.
Awesome, and shout out to Georgia and everybody that is asking questions. But so what I would have to say is whenever you're going to run for state office, you want to make sure that you're prepared and that you have a vision. You want to make sure, how can you give back to FBLA-PBL? And also at the NFLC, I will be teaching a workshop called Campaigning in Action. I'll also upload that PowerPoint after I present it. That'll give you all kinds of tips and tricks of how to do your themes. I've been really lucky in the past, and I've got to work on so many national officer campaigns as well as state officer campaigns. Mm-hmm. So for all of you out there, though, that are watching and you have that small feeling that you want to run for office just like you do it.
And if you want some really big tips, the most important thing, in my experience, and I'm sure you've seen this too, is you need to have a strong team behind you. I've only been as successful as I have been because when I've had strong teams, I've been successful with my campaigns, and that's just something that it's just incredibly important, and it also gives you the opportunity to, again, just like my national team, you get to meet some great people.
All right, so this question is for me, and it is from Javon McCurry in the great state of New Jersey. Hey, Javon, thanks for tweeting in. Javon's question is, are there any national programs other than 7-Up and Super Sweeps that we could promote to our members at this time? And Javon, since I know that you're a PBL member and a New Jersey state officer, there are other national programs. The CMAP. CMAP stands for the Career and Membership Achievement Program. Mm-hmm. I would strongly recommend doing that because not only are they going to get an awesome opportunity to be recognized at the national level, but they're also going to have an electronic career portfolio, and that's pretty awesome. One other PBL national program that I can recommend is Membership Madness and Membership Mania.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, for each person for all 5, sorry guys, this is a live hangout. So for 5 people that you recruit, you're going to receive the Membership Madness, and for every 10, you'll receive Membership Mania, and you'll be represented at for you, Devon, at the Eastern Region Conference, and the Eastern Region Rally.
Both of the things that you just mentioned are applicable to FBLA. The only difference is that our CMAPs are the BAAs, the Business Achievement Awards. You get recognized at the National Leadership Conference. It's another great opportunity and a great way to start a portfolio that you'll be able to give to potential employers a bit down the line.
All right, NP-FBLA. Hello, Nat PBL Pres and Nat FBLA Pres. Hello, North Penn High School FBLA is in Pennsylvania.
Yep, it's right by my house.
Holding our first meeting next week. Any advice? Well, if it's right next to your house.
It's right next to my house. All right, thank you so much for tweeting at us, North Penn. Shout out to you, and shout out to the entire great state of Pennsylvania. So for your first meeting, something that I'd really recommend is that you have the food. That is something that he mentioned a little bit ago that I'm going to mention now. The best way to have people, to have your entire team, to have everybody show up is to have some food. But of course, that's not everything I'm going to mention. The thing that I would say is really the most important, in addition to the food, would be to be organized. Make sure that you're not just talking. Make sure that you actually have an agenda planned out. We had an agenda planned for this today, and we went through that agenda. Have the agenda, and also, if possible, if you have a smartboard or projector in your room, have a PowerPoint that goes along with it. Have a mission for the year. If you want to achieve something, set a goal. That's something that we've gone through our program of works with. That's our biggest thing, is that we're not only planning programs, we're not only having things that we'd like to achieve, but we know exactly what our goals are, all things that are quantifiable.
Perfect. Good answer, Sam. And also remember that if you do want Sam to come by your local chapter and you're that close to him, tweet him.
Yeah, you just got to
tweet
me a call. I'll come by North Penn.
Email him. And that goes the same for any of our national officers. Yep. I know my PBL officers are chomping at the bit, ready to help you all out with your local chapter meetings. All right, and do remember that if we do not have time to answer all of your questions, because we do have to actually go to a banquet in a few, that we will answer them. This is a lot of fun, though, I will say. So we're actually going to continue on. This one is for me. How do you recommend local FBLA chapters help and encourage member business? Okay. How do you recommend local? Oh,
I understand.
How do they? Okay, so how do you recommend to get the local business to help?
With you. Yep, I can talk about this one. Oscar, I spoke to you a little bit ago. You sent me an email, and Oscar said a great example. If you have a question, email me. I will get back to you, usually within 24 hours. Any of us will. But I think what Oscar's asking about is if you have your own business, what can you do? We've always got programs that we're trying to have. We understand that a lot of people in FBLA already have their own businesses. In PBL, Bo, you've got your own business. I've got my own business. If you have your own business, we are always trying to plan new programs in order to kind of accommodate them, to help you out with them. Something, can I just recommend something at your local chapter? Have a Shark Tank. That's something that I've always been all about. Have a Shark Tank at your local chapter. If you've got questions about that, how you can do that in an FBLA style, I've done it. We've been really successful at my own chapter. Just send me an email, and I will help you out with that. It's something really exciting that we've been successful with.
Another thing, though, is that if you do have your own business, I really do challenge you to actually do the business plan, competitive event. We have some of the best judges that are excited and eager to judge you and to give you feedback. So for all of you that don't know about the business plan, check that out in the Chapter Management Handbook found on the national site. All right, now here's another fun question. Sam's kind of already answered it. So how has your experience been as a national officer? So Sam's already answered it. If you want to hear Sam's response, you can hit rewind.
I'm sure Bo's having a great job, too. Great time, too.
So my favorite experience as a national officer, it would have to be being a national officer, to be honest. I know that that's a very open-ended question or a very lame answer to a lot of you, but serving as an officer and having the opportunity to actually come to March of Dimes conferences or to your regional fall conference, thank you, North Carolina, and to actually do these things and represent an association that I love so much, it's so rewarding.
And can I also just say, in addition to that, being a national officer is incredible. It's probably one of the best experiences, if not, it probably is the best experience I've ever had with anything. But being a local officer is still something, even along with being a state officer, being a local officer is still something that has been one of the most rewarding experiences ever. The work ethic that I've developed that's enabled me to become a national officer is from local office. And as a local office, it's a very different role because you really get to see every single day exactly what your decisions are affecting, how they're affecting people. So being a local officer, if you don't want to be a national officer, speak in front of all those people, it's incredible.
Speak in front of the people, because for those of you that were in PBL a few years ago, I was quite stage shy during my first campaign, and now not so much.
Yeah.
So it's amazing the amount of growth that can come out. All right, so yes, that is a good region, but I'm not going to say that out because I don't show favoritism. Thank you for that tweet. All right, so what does it take to run for national office, and what is the average amount of money one will have to spend for the campaign? Can I answer this?
You can answer this.
All right, so this is a great question. So currently, I'm not going to tell you that there is a certain amount that people spend. You know, I've heard of officers only spending $30, or I believe that year that person spent $80 on their campaign and they won in a 3-person contested race.
It's not about the money.
It's not about the money. I also have heard of people spending $2,000 right at the limit and they've won. It really matters on your speech and your delivery, and that you're actually genuine about the association and that you actually care about the members and moving us progressively forward.
Yeah.
Really, really, really find a campaign manager, and I'm going to give you some really honest advice. Don't be afraid if you scare 1 or 2 away.
Right.
You know, being a campaign manager, you just have to remember that they're volunteering to help you. So always treat them awesome. I always bribed mine with cookies and pizza.
Again.
And my friends like to eat, so do I. But yeah, no, it's really great though to take care of your campaign manager. Have your speech ready. Have your speech ready now.
And I already mentioned how important it is to have a strong team, and you just reinforced that. But that campaign booth, that time that you're at that campaign booth, is something that I didn't really consider when I was running for national office, how tiring that can be, how crazy it is that not only are you saying something that you really believe in to a lot of people, but you're saying it, I'm not even exaggerating, like probably a couple hundred times. So don't be afraid, first of all, to scare people off and to say really what you believe in, because hopefully you won't scare as many people off as you get to vote for you. But the other thing is just say that what you really want to do. Just say what you want to do and things that are attainable.
Hey, Sam, can you check the national Twitter for me?
Absolutely. I've been checking a little bit.
We're going to go on over. We're going to go on over to another question. What are ways to keep a meeting fun and entertaining to keep people engaged? SO to VA. Oh, shout out to VA.
I thought we didn't show favoritism.
Well, I'm reading it. So, all right. So MVH FBLA wants to know, how are ways to keep their meetings fun and exciting? I'm tired of saying food, so now I'll give you all a different answer.
Probably a better answer, to be honest.
A better answer to food. So hopefully all of you all have heard about icebreakers. And I actually have a really great icebreaker. You'll have to tune into the next address to the nation to figure out what my favorite icebreaker is. But for all of you that have ever attended one of my workshops, I'm sure that you all have heard of Bear Hunter Lady.
Yep.
So make sure to keep icebreakers going on. Also, like I said, our professional division officers and our professional division members are here to help you. I know in Virginia FBLA, you all have such a solid Phi Beta Lambda chapter starting right now. Call your Phi Beta Lambda officers like Nick Western or other people in Virginia FBLA that are state officers that can help you and come and speak at your chapter meetings.
Right.
Sam, what's another fun way for this chapter?
Another fun way for this chapter. Something that I would really recommend is, this is in more of a broad view, but make sure that you're getting all of your officers involved, because the reason why my chapter's been so successful, had such great meetings, is because we have people from all around the school, all different social groups coming together with FBLA, and people are always excited if they're with people that they enjoy to be around. And that's the great part about FBLA, about any organization where you're able to get people from all different backgrounds, from all different social groups together in one officer team. It's always going to be fun when you're having fun with your friends, and that's why FBLA has been so great.
All right, so we're going to take a few more questions, and so feel free to tweet at NatPBLPrez.
Or at FBLA President.
And we can answer those questions live. Unfortunately, we're having a few problems right now accessing the FBLA National Twitter, so once again, I'm going to repeat that. You can tweet at NatPBLPrez or at FBLA-NatPrez.
FBLA President.
Yes. So you can tweet either of those for your questions.
I was surprised we got that Twitter too. It's a very good one.
All right. So what are ways to get involved at the national level besides national councils? This is a wonderful question because actually this year, Phi Beta Lambda is not doing national councils. I know that we've been receiving a lot of emails and a lot of tweets and a lot of phone calls about this. So I can start this off and then Sam can talk about how FBLA can. This year in Phi Beta Lambda, I'm really urging members to get involved with their state officers. Your state officers are so excited to make their membership grow this year. I've seen so many programs of works, and I've been having calls one-on-one with state presidents, and they are just so excited to get you all excited. Another thing, though, is that you can always get involved at the national level by giving me a call, giving my officers a call. Ask what you can do to help. Take the initiative.
Yeah. I'll just say, it's not like we're getting emails. We're getting flooded with emails every single day. I think maybe every week I get a few emails from you guys. Feel free to just email me. If you ever have even a little question, you want a quote for your school newspaper. Apparently people think I'm quote-worthy. Ask us that question. Really just come to us if you have any concerns, any questions, and we will answer you.
All right. So.
And we also want to hear your suggestions.
Absolutely. All right, Sam, do you have a question over there?
Not yet.
Actually, I think that we had a few emailed in as well, if you want to check that email.
Thank you, everyone, so much for getting so involved, not only watching, but asking us these questions.
Also, just a reminder, this will be recorded.
Yep.
And you can play this back to your local chapters later, and you can hit rewind as well. 1 second, let me figure this one out for you. Hello, how can someone get involved in the national level? Okay. Okay, so just like Sam, I know that an officer from Virginia just stated that because they're very busy right now, so they can't really get involved. But like we said, if you want to get involved in the national level, do our national programs. That's another great way to stand out and get recognized. Speaking of national programs, this is something that Sam and I definitely want to promote to you. March of Dimes Mission Lift Grant.
Yes. Do you want to explain what that is, or should I?
Absolutely.
I'm excited about it. We're here. We're right here with the March of Dimes.
There's purple.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
So
it's awesome.
We're really grateful to them for not only giving us the ability to show off the skills that we've gotten through FBLA and have those successful fundraising events, but they'll help us have those fundraising events because they know how successful we've been in the past. They know that it pays back to give us these things called mission lift grants. What they'll do is that if you have a great idea for a fundraiser, for a March of Dimes fundraiser, what you can do is you can apply online. Do you have that link, Bo?
I actually do. It's in the Purple in Action packet.
Yep, and again, just to repeat, the Purple in Action packet is a packet that Bo actually put together a couple years ago. It's very specific to FBLA, to PBL, to help you fundraise for the March of Dimes. It's not just for anybody, it's for your chapter. But with those mission lift grants, what you have the opportunity to submit any fundraiser idea that you have, something maybe you can't afford to do with your chapter, submit it. And what we'll do is it'll obviously, if we feel like it's a good idea, and a lot of the times you'd be surprised we do, and it always is successful, just apply for that grant, and you'll be able to have that fundraiser.
All right, so we have another question, which is from Drew in Wisconsin. Drew would like to know what national programs his FBLA state should be promoting. So this is actually all about you, about the national programs in the state that he should be promoting.
I think the two main ones were the ones that we've really already touched on. We've got a lot of national programs. Again, I encourage you to check those out on our social media pages. Two national programs that right now are really important for you to start promoting are, number one, September Sweeps, or it used to be called September Sweeps, Super Sweeps, and number two, 7-Up. 7-Up and Super Sweeps tie in together, but it's the beginning of the year, and they both have to do with recruitment. And right now, obviously, is a better time than any time to start recruiting new members. So get those dues paid, start recruiting those members, and do take advantage of the tools that we have in FBLA through things like Super Sweeps that not only get you those members, but they get you recognized at a national level for it.
Awesome. Let's open back up those emails really quick.
I was just looking at them. I haven't gotten any new emails, but I think...
Here's one.
Oh, here's another one.
All right, so here's another question. This question is from Susan, who's a PBL state officer in Alabama. Hey, Susan. She would like to help her state officers create elevator speeches. Can you explain what an elevator speech is? And I will give you mine.
She asked about PBL.
All right, so Susan, thank you so much for your question. An elevator speech is a 30-second speech. Hey, Sam, why don't you check out in the comments on YouTube, because I heard that we have some things down there before I go on this.
Great. Trying to stall.
An elevator speech is a 30-second speech that you should always carry in your pocket. I know that Sam and I have been keeping our FBLA-PBL elevator speech in our pockets during this conference here.
Right.
So an example of an elevator speech is basically your sales pitch for your officers whenever they meet industry professionals or other individuals. So this is my FBLA-PBL elevator speech. And you mainly would do this whenever introducing yourself and shaking their hand. So it starts off with, FBLA-PBL is the world's largest student business association with over 250,000 members nationwide. In Phi Beta Lambda, our members are in college and they are eager to compete, educate, and win scholarships and travel across the country. So basically, as long as you mention in your elevator speech that we do have a competitive events program with over 55 competitive events, and that we travel, and that we can win scholarship, and that we're trying to get career ready, you're always on the right page.
Yep.
Where's that other one, Sam? And I do apologize because I was informed that we have a comment on the YouTube comments.
We're having trouble accessing YouTube while we're recording.
But while we're broadcasting, we actually can't read the comments. So I do apologize.
What is this one? They should probably fix that. I think there's actually a Q&A tool, though, as well. Let's see if that works. No, not working.
All right. So I think that this is going to be one of our absolute last questions, unless if we get in.
All right.
All right. This is our last question, so Sam, why don't you pick one that we received? And I do apologize if we did not get to your question.
Yep.
Please email me at pblprez@fbla.org or email Sam at fblapres@fbla.org.
So the last question, I think, should be, Oh, wait, we've addressed a couple of these already. The next question. Okay, the next question, and I guess this will be the last question, is going to be about the State Officer Boardroom. So, all right, Kyle from Arizona. Hello, Arizona. We're here with you. Just asked how he can be a part of the State Officer Boardroom. So the State Officer Boardroom is a tool that you can find on Facebook we don't just have on Facebook our pages that you can follow, but if you're a state officer, we've got this group online. It's a secret group called the State Officer Boardroom that you can be a part of if, number one, somebody, your officer team has added you to it, or you contact the FBLA secretary, Annika Mullaney, and you can send her an email at fblasecretary@fbla.org.
FBLA-SEC, SEC.
Okay, FBLA-SEC@fbla.org. And what she'll do is she will give you the access to the boardroom. There's nothing secret going on there. The only reason why it's limited to state officers is because in order to get the most done, it's hard to have a million voices at once. But, of course, anybody can just post on any of our pages if you have any other questions.
All right, this is the absolute last question from Maryland. It just came into my email. Thank you, Timothy.
Oh, it's to me, though.
And then it says, I meant Bo.
Oh, man. He's not even lying.
All right,
Thanks,
so
Timothy.
I was wondering, what is the best way to get professional division members at our local chapter? All right, that's a great question. And Timothy, you're actually in the home state of PD National President David Jones. So definitely reach out to the PD National officers of how you can get a hold of them. And that's really my best advice for you.
And professional division's an incredible tool because we're always looking for sponsors, but we've already got those professional contacts from the professional division who can tell you how you can be successful. They're the ones, it's not like they're just out of college. A lot of them have already had really successful careers, and they're the people that you should reach out to first and if you want really great advice.
And then just another thing about how to get the professional division members at your local chapter.
Yep, you can address that.
You also mentioned how should you get the most turnout at a parent interest meeting? And I would just like to do a shout out to you, Timothy, because I haven't really heard of parent interest meetings for PD. That is a really innovative idea, members. So definitely reach out to have parent interest meetings for this. So actually, if you go in that side of this YouTube channel,
it's that side. Maybe it's reflected.
It could be that way. But it's over there in the FBLA-PBL National Center YouTube channel. There's a professional division recruitment video that is just so cool. It was made last year. But also what I would do is I would let them know that what they're doing as PD members is they're supporting the mission of bringing business and education together.
Yep.
And they're causing opportunities like this to happen.
And they're also passionate about the organization. They will want to talk to you. That's why they're a part of this.
And then just a really cool perk that our PD or professional division members have, they actually get to compete.
Right.
They actually have a competitive events program, so that's always pretty cool to go back to your boss and say that you won. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining in with us. We actually have to head downstairs for a meeting, but once again, connect with us on social media. I'm PBL National Pres on Facebook.
And I'm at FBLA President on Twitter and FBLA National President on Facebook.
And just a shout out to our officer teams for doing such a rock star job.
And it's only the beginning. It's only the beginning. It's going to be a really great year because it's been such a great year so far.
And I think that me and Sam would both agree, if you can't like all 18 pages, which we really want you to.
I like them all.
I mean, I do too. But if you can't, at least make sure to tune in and like your regional vice president's page, as well as our secretary, treasurer, and parliamentarians page, to at least stay up to date with what is in your region.
Yeah, in addition to our pages.
I mean, of course, our pages, yes.
Yeah. You'll get the, again, you will get those updates faster than anybody else. Everybody will get them, but if you're a part of our Facebook pages, if you like our Facebook pages, you will see those updates as quick as we come up with them.
And Phi Beta Lambda members, do not forget to register for your email blast. One absolute last thing for the state officers that are tuned in.
We really don't want to go, do we?
No, I know we have to go. One absolute last thing is please do not forget to reach out to Sam and I about the state officer training. We want to make this your program. So thank you so much, Phi Beta Lambda.
And FBLA, it's been real. It's been great. Thank you so much.
And we're going to go hang out now with some awesome March of Dimes leaders.
Yes.